I would like to welcome the audience to the May 17, 2016 Parish Planning and Zoning Board meeting. I would like to ask Coach Williams if he'd give us the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Would we please stand?
Our gracious Father in heaven, again we give you thanks for allowing us to see another blessed day. Thank thee for life, health, and strength. Forgive us our sins and our transgressions and make us fit. But we thank you for your suffering, shed blood for the remission of our sins. And we pray, Lord, for the sick and the poor and the needy everywhere, and especially our dear brother, David Connors. We ask you to have mercy upon him and his whole family. You know the problems, and we just place it within your hands because you can do the miracles that you've always done, and we just trust in you. We pray for this board, pray for this staff, and pray for those who will come today seeking our help. Let the Holy Spirit deal with us, and that we might do that which is pleasing in our sight. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name we offer this prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started tonight, I would like to ask you all to help me wish Mr. Art Little a very happy birthday today.
Thank you, sir.
Happy birthday, Art.
That was not called for. Thank you.
All righty. Ms. Christie, roll call, please.
Chair Elijah Gilry.
Here.
Vice Chair Jake Forshey.
Here.
Miss Betty Brown.
Here.
Miss Latricia Cobb. Miss Julia Dickerson.
Here.
Miss Sharon Galicia.
Here.
Mr. Art Little.
Here.
Mr. Gary Navarre.
Here.
Mr. Kirk Smith.
Here.
And Mr. LaSalle Williams.
Here.
Thank you. This is an 11-member board. It will take a majority of those members present to grant or deny any request heard this evening. The chair will refrain from voting unless there's a tie. The meeting will be conducted with me reading the meeting request from the agenda. The planning staff will give a presentation and report their recommendations. If the applicant would like to add to the staff's presentation, or if someone from the audience has comments, please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and nature of your request. All persons wishing to speak other than the applicants need to fill out a blue request to appear form located in the back of the room. The form must be given to a staff member prior to the reading of the agenda item. As required by this board's bylaws, in all cases, the proponents will be limited to 10 minutes. Opponents will be granted 10 minutes as well, with each speaker allowed no more than 3 minutes. I recommend that a spokesperson be selected if there is a large group wanting to speak on the same agenda item. If 4 or more speaker request forms are submitted, the time allowed for individual speakers will be limited based on the number of forms submitted. The chair has the right to limit speakers who present redundant information or personal attacks. In unique situations, the chair may extend or the board may vote to extend the time allotted for speakers. After discussion, the board will vote on each request. I will announce the decision of the board after the vote. Preliminary subdivision approval and zoning exceptions and variances are final tonight. The rezoning cases will go before the police jury for final action on May 19, 2016. This meeting is being taped by the Calcasieu Parish Government Channel and can be viewed on Wednesday and Thursday following the meeting. For additional run dates, please check the website at www.cppj.net. Channel 5 in Lake Charles, Sulphur, Moss Bluff, Westlake, Vinton, DeQuincy, and Gillis, Channel 99 in Corliss and Grand Lake. I now ask that you please turn off all electronic devices. Item number 5, take appropriate action to approve the minutes of the March 22, 2016 Planning and Zoning meeting.
So moved.
All right, it's been okay. Moved by Mr. Navarre, seconded by Mr. Porsche. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the minutes approved. I would also like to announce that item number 19, case RZ04023-16, a request by Carolyn Chitty to rezone from single-family residential R1 and light commercial C1 to recreational vehicle park, or RVP, to allow recreational vehicle park. 125 spaces in the 4200 block of Carliss Drive in Ward 4 has been withdrawn. We will not be going over that case this evening. Item number 6, take appropriate action on a request by Lagniappe ESTATES for preliminary subdivision approval to allow a single-family residential subdivision, 17 lots in the 5,000 block of Highway 14 East in Ward 2. I entertain a motion for approval with stipulations.
So moved.
Ms. Latricia Cobb has moved. I need a second. Ms. Dickerson seconded. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located in the Homewood area and encompasses nearly 21 acres of agricultural zone land. The applicant would like to subdivide the land into 17 lots ranging in size from 1 acre to 1.4 acres. Because the development meets the requirements for agricultural zoning, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulations: that the development is subject to an application for and/or compliance with an LPDES stormwater discharge permit, which may be required through the Department of Environmental Quality and the Calcasieu Parish Division of Planning and Development, that a drainage impact analysis and a traffic impact analysis may be required in accordance with the parish codes, and that the preliminary plat must be approved by the Division of Engineering prior to submittal of engineering plans. And before you move on, I want to point out a gentleman submitted a letter in opposition, and it's on your tablets. He was working, if I'm not mistaken, and couldn't attend the meeting.
All right. Is there any additional information that the applicant would like to add? Okay. We don't have any blue cards on this one. Okay. Oh, it is one. I'm sorry.
I'm Tanya Mesh at 4310 Ryan Street, Suite 121.
You're the applicant, right?
I am.
Yeah, okay.
I was just going to present the PowerPoint for the board. So Lagniappe Land Development Group, and we're putting in Lagniappe Estates, which is a single-family residence. We have deed restrictions on the property. It will be 2,200 minimum square footage, New Orleans style homes, of course, with the lanterns and the street signs, custom build for Lagniappe Estates.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Mesh? Okay, thank you. All right. As I mentioned, we have no blue cards. Any other questions by the board? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, motion passes. Item number 7, take appropriate action on a request by McMillan Place for a preliminary subdivision approval to allow a single-family residential subdivision, 22 lots in the 1900 block of Sutherland Road in Ward 1. I'll entertain a motion for approval with stipulations.
Second.
Coach Williams has motioned, or Little seconded. Ms. Wallace. And
Ms.
before you
Cobb.
say, do we need to mention that Ms. Cobb has come in for the minutes? Okay, thank you. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located in Moss Bluff and encompasses 5 acres of single-family residential zone land. The developer would like to subdivide the land into 22 lots ranging in size from 7,500 square feet to 7,700 square feet. Because the development meets the requirements for single-family residential zoning, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the stipulations that were read into the record on the previous agenda item.
Okay. Is there anything additional that the applicant would like to add? Okay, we have no blue cards on this one. Any other questions or comments by the board? Being none, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, case 7 passes. Case number 8, take appropriate action on a request by Taylor Estates for preliminary subdivision approval to allow a single-family residential subdivision, 33 lots, in the 500 block of Langford Road in Ward 4. I will now entertain a motion for approval with stipulations.
So moved.
Coach Williams and Mr. Porsche seconded. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located in Carlos and encompasses over 16 acres. The developer would like to subdivide the land into 33 lots, averaging a half acre in size. Because the development meets the requirements for residential zoning, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the same 3 stipulations that are traditionally imposed.
Okay. Anything that applicant would like to add? Okay, we have no blue cards on this one as well. Any questions or comments by the board? Being none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, case number 8 passes. Item number 9, take appropriate action on case VA 03-016-16, a request by Jason Cochran for a variance to allow residential development on a non-conforming lot and to decrease the front yard setback requirement. Required 30 feet, requesting 15 at 921 Spanish Mission Trail in Ward 3. I will entertain a motion for approval with stipulation.
So moved.
Ms. Cobbs moved, Mr. Navarre seconded. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located in South Lake Charles and encompasses .12 acres. The property was included on a 1984 subdivision plat for the trails. While it appears that the intention was to utilize this as a future right-of-way connection, the plat did not include that label. In 1985, Highland Meadows, a subdivision immediately south of the trails, was accepted because the Highland Meadows plat did not show a connection through the land in question. A non-conforming lot was created, and that was in 1985. At that time, the minimum lot size was 6,000 square feet with 60 feet of road frontage. This lot has 50 feet of road frontage and 5,200 square feet. We don't have records of any variance request from the time the trails was accepted on the front setback or on the square footage, but our GIS review indicates that many of the lots in the development did not comply with the minimum standards at that time. The smallest lot that we found in the trails is 5,280 square feet. There are at least 4 lots with 0 road frontage. Furthermore, along Spanish Mission Trail, there are 3 homes with a 15-foot front setback and 1 with a 14-foot setback. The petitioner purchased this lot in 2003 along with the adjacent home. He would now like to construct a home on this parcel but needs your approval to do so. And I do have some maps that show the square footage of the lots. I have the old plats and I have some measurements of the setbacks. If you'd like to see that, we can pass it around. But because minimal impacts are to be expected, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulation: that the development adhere to the site plan on file, provided that the director may authorize adjustments to site plans in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development. And I want to point out here that we also have an opposition letter on your tablet.
Okay. Is there anything that the applicant would like to add to the staff's presentation? Please come up, state your name and address.
My name is Glenn Bruyette, 1913 Oling Drive, Sulphur, Louisiana. I'm speaking on behalf of Jason Corcoran. If this is granted, I plan to purchase the lot from Jason and have Randy Tupper construct a patio home on this lot. When I drew that plan, I just used some minimum setbacks as described in the neighborhood plans. I don't intend to hit that minimum 15. I'm going to line up the house to match the frontage of the other houses next to it. That could be 20 or 25 feet. I hadn't been out there with a tape measure. But it'll be conforming to the neighborhood as far as roof pitch and colors and materials. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we have 4 cards, 1 general comments and the other in opposition. As Mr. Warren Bork, come up, please.
Mr. Chairman, with 5 speakers in opposition, 2 minutes each?
4 speakers, actually.
Okay, so we still want to do 2 minutes each?
Yes, that's fine.
Yes, my name is Warren Bork. I'm from 1093 Spanish Mission Trail here in Louisiana. What I would like to bring to the board is that this subdivision has a homeowners association, and the rules and regulations of our homeowners association were not taken into consideration or not even looked at for this application. The applicant did not follow policy for new construction in our subdivision per our homeowners association. We do not question the lot itself, but we do want the restriction set back to the 30 feet, which all other homes in this subdivision have been since the construction, in contracts to the lady that stated that there was 15 homes, 3 homes that were 15 feet. This is incorrect because all this information has been taken in by the homeowners association. And the homeowners association feels that they were bypassed and came directly to you. Yes, sirs and ladies, you have the right to pass this lot as a non-conforming lot, but for the structure and the setback, that's into our homeowners association, which is incorporated by the state of Louisiana. Now, do you override things of the state of Louisiana? If you do, that's fine. If not, this application we would request be withdrawn and rewritten and reapplied. Applying the 15-foot setback violates article that I have here, if you want to see the article. And
Ms. Barker, if you
do
can kind of wrap it
pass-
up, you're getting to your time.
If you do pass this, it means that you're setting a precedence for our subdivision and any other subdivision that has a homeowners association, because they just have to come to you and you bypass.
All right.
So this, to me, is not right. Thank
Thank you, sir, Mr. Bork. Faith Ferguson?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
as she comes up to the podium, if I could just remind you that homeowners associations and subdivision restrictions are viewed as private contracts, and they have to be enforced in district court. They're not enforced by the local government.
Right. Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, your name and address, please.
Faith Ferguson, 911 Spanish Mission Trail. I also represent Ray and Melba Hunley, who live at 949 Spanish Mission Trail. They're out of town and couldn't attend. I'd like to thank the board for your consideration, your service and general consideration here. We appreciate this opportunity to speak on behalf of our neighborhood. We have several concerns about the 15-foot setback versus a 30-foot setback. On the application summary, it states that the staff has recommended that this be approved because it will have minimal impact. We, as the residents of the trails, respectfully disagree. We think it will have quite a deleterious impact. It will affect the aesthetics of the neighborhood and possibly lower our property values. We disagree with the applicant's answer to number 7 in the review information of the application. Most of the residents in the trails are homeowners as opposed to renters and have been there a long time, 15 years or more. There is not a high turnover. When we built or moved to the trails, we liked the look of the neighborhood and agreed with and conformed to the standards, and most of us cannot afford to move if unfavorable changes are made. When the approximately 70 other homes were built, they had to conform to the 30-foot setback, and it doesn't seem acceptable that one person should be given an exception that will have a detrimental effect on so many others. The lots are small and close together, so this will be very noticeable to those of us who live nearby. It also makes it more difficult, may also make it more difficult to see oncoming traffic when trying to back out of driveways to the east when the vehicles are parked in the street, which may be likely with such a short driveway. If this is approved, others might also ask to add onto the front of their residence and further adversely affect the appearance of the neighborhood. Also, if this is built as proposed, what would stop him or someone else in the future from later closing in the carport? That would further impede the view and detrimentally affect property values. Since there is room for the home to be pushed back and built on that lot with a 30-foot setback, we respectfully ask that the 15-foot setback not be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Jackie Young. State your name and address, please.
My name is Denzel Ralph Young, Jr., more commonly known as Jack Young. But I'm speaking on...
Your address, please.
Pardon?
Your address.
Oh, I'm actually speaking for myself and for Cleve Fowler, who had to be out of town today. And he,
And your address, please.
903 Spanish Mission Trail is my address, and Mr. Fowler lives at 939 Spanish Mission Trail. And I'm speaking to y'all because of the 15-foot setback. I just don't feel like that's ample room, you know, between the road and the highway, and plus everybody else has used the 30-foot setback. I have a letter from Mr. Brulette that states that he is not asking for a 15-foot setback. And I think that request should be denied or dismissed because that's not what he wants. And that's the reason I don't understand why we're here, because he knows that. And I have the letter signed by him stating that he doesn't want that.
We're going by the application, correct? I mean, that's what the application states, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he stated whenever he spoke that he didn't plan on doing that, but I would like to have that in writing. I don't think that it's right to just take somebody's word for it, because that's sometimes not the best thing for everybody.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Robert Corley? Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, yes, you can come back up.
The drawing that was submitted earlier, I just took the 15-foot setback off the description for the neighborhood. That's not my intention. I will revise that. I will definitely line up the front of the house with the adjacent homes. The carport will have, because of the lot size, the carport's going to have to be in front, and by design, it should be staggered 10 feet off the front of the house. But I will set this thing back, and I'll bring another drawing, and I have yet to find a contact for the homeowners association. If you could provide me with that, I'd be more than willing to work with those people. I've been told that by both neighbors that they don't pay fees, dues, and they had no contacts for a homeowners association that was established 40 years ago and has since dissolved. But if there is such a thing, I'd love to contact them.
So you clarify your first statement that you made. Okay, are you asking for the 15 or not for 15?
No, it's going to be more than that. I used that number because that was in the description for the
That's all we had to go on. Ms. Wallace?
We actually have something, excuse me, in the ordinance, and, you know, I'm known for overcomplicating things. If 40% or more of the frontage on the same side of the street is improved with buildings, which is the case here, that have observed front yards less than that required, which, remember, in my presentation, I stated that the 30-foot setback was not adhered to in this subdivision. No building need be set back from the street more than the average front yard depth. So if we use that, you know, my crack research team back there calculated based on this map where we measured the setbacks. And for those in the audience, I want to point out that the setback is not measured from the edge of the road. Mm-hmm. It is measured from the edge of the right-of-way. So I think that might be causing a lot of confusion, because it looks like there might be about 10 feet of ground right there. But basically, when we calculate the average setback, it comes out to 17 feet. So if he builds the building, the house, 17 feet from the road right-of-way, he doesn't need a variance.
And it's my intention to, you're right, you got 10 feet plus 15, which would be where the carport, the open carport would start. the house front would be 10 feet beyond that and lined up with the two neighbors' fronts.
So do we really need to vote on?
That's what I'm wondering. Is this, are we here for no point? I mean, what's?
So the variance is for the substandard lot size.
We're
Standard
not
is,
voting on the setback?
Well, it's a two-prong request.
Okay.
It's because there's not enough road frontage, there's not enough square footage, per the 1985 requirement of 60 and 6,000 square feet. And then on top of that, the building is too close to the road. But I'm passing around the map right now that'll show you, in my professional opinion, if I'm hearing that he can build at 17 and his site plan shows 15, in my opinion, I would go ahead and grant that variance, knowing that as long as he builds it within 15 and 17, or maybe even a little bit further back, it's acceptable.
Mr. Porsche?
Do we know the exact setbacks of the two homes that connect to this property?
We didn't go out with a tape measure, we did GIS, but
I'm looking
it
from the
gets us
picture
pretty
here,
close.
looks to be a full-size truck, so there's no way it's 30 foot off the right-of-way. I mean,
No.
20 at most. I mean, could we, I know we could, since 17 is the magic number, we could amend this motion to state 17 in lieu of 15.
Well, you could maybe even impose a stipulation that it has to be set 17 feet back from there to the right-of-way.
Okay. You can, and you also have, it sounds like the applicant's agreement to do that.
Right. I think that might be the answer.
So you put an
I'd like
amendment?
to move for the amendment of the original motion to, instead of 15 feet, and I could state that it would be 17 or
Greater.
no closer to the right-of-way than the two houses on either side.
Yes.
Okay. So is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Been seconded by Mr. Little. Okay, let's vote.
could I ask for contact for the homeowners association? Because
Well, that's something personal. Yeah, it's a private matter.
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, we've had properly moved and seconded for our amendment. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed on the amendment? All right.
I have-
Question?
I have a question in regards to the lot itself. I'm sure the homeowners association has some kind of rules and regulations that lot's got to be mowed and maintained to meet the aesthetics of the neighborhood. That is a cost to someone that is in charge of it, that owns the property, that this would, I think, may help. I don't know, I don't live there, I've been by there, but to fill in one more lot in that neighborhood to help finish that neighborhood and that one side of that street out, if this home passes and he can build a home on this piece of property.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a statement.
That it would
Yes.
be more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so any other questions? Another board? Okay, all right. Your time has been spent. Thank you. Another question by the board and staff?
Mr. Chairman, just to restate the amendment.
Yes.
And I think we've written it down, but the amendment is to place the front setback no less than 17 feet from edge of right-of-way or in line with the closest of the structures of the adjoining lots.
Well said.
Make sure we're clear.
Yes.
All righty. So now we vote on the.
You vote, I'm sorry. I just wanted to restate the motion.
Now let's vote on the case number 9 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One more time. You have to vote on the amendment first.
I thought we did that.
I'm sorry, I messed up. I
Okay,
apologize.
all right. I just
So
want-
now, if you could retake the vote because of my error, I apologize.
Okay. All right. Let's vote again. Okay, let's vote on case number 9 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, case number 9 passes as amended.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Case number 10, take appropriate action on case VA 08-017-16, a request by William Broussard for a variance to allow 2 dwellings on 1 lot, 6688 Roy Araby Road in Ward 8. I would entertain a motion for approval with stipulation.
Second.
Probably moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by Mr. Porsche. Ms. Wallace.
This property is located in the LeBleu settlement area and encompasses 1 acre of agricultural zone land. Currently on the property is the petitioner's home. The second dwelling will be a manufactured home to serve as the daughter's residence. Because the development is consistent with the area, the staff recommends that the request be granted with the following stipulation: that the development adhere to the site plan on file, provided that the director may authorize adjustments to site plans in light of technical or engineering considerations discovered during development.
All righty. Any additional comments by the applicant? We have no blue cards on this. Any questions or comments by the board? Okay. Being none, all in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Being none, case number 10 passes. I'd like to call a 2-minute recess. Can, please? 2-minute recess.